Well, hello, friends. Jeremy Knight here from St. Paul's United Methodist Church with our weekly check in. And it's not a mistake. Some of you that are opening up this email or accessing this video online, usually a day earlier than usual. It is actually Thursday afternoon, and we wanted to get this to you a day early just because we have a lot going on over the next several days here in the life of our church. And so let me tackle the immediate things first. Then I'll talk to you a little bit about our new worship series that begins this Sunday and hit some highlights and some dates and some details that are unfolding in the next couple of weeks we want to make sure that you are aware of. Some of those we've talked about a little bit, some of them we haven't, and there'll be new things to share. And so lots of information in our video today. So bear with us as we get through it all. Exciting times ahead. And so if you're receiving this on Thursday, which is when we're sending it to you, tomorrow morning, on Friday morning at 9 a.m., we will celebrate the life of retired Lieutenant Colonel Frank Raspberry, somebody very near and dear to our hearts. And so I want to make sure that that word has gotten out to you. We sent the funeral invitation on Monday. Attached there was his obituary, but we have kind of resent that. And I know that the funeral home has posted their obituary that they've received from the Raspberry family as well. But I know that for many of you, you've been asking about those details and wanting to have access to the obituary. So lots of places to find that right now. And so thank you for taking great care of our church family as we celebrate a wonderful life, a life well lived, 97 wonderful years, right? What a blessing to know Frank and Nida and their family in the ways that we have. So that's going to happen at 9 a.m. Many of you are going to be here early to help in many different roles and capacities, and I cannot thank you enough for doing that. Just know that you've been communicated with by some wonderful leaders in our church, and so I look forward to you all being here, giving us a hand, and creating a wonderful, loving, and hospitable environment for our community, which many people from our community I know will be here tomorrow morning to honor Frank. If you are finding this and you're out of town, you're on vacation, or you've relocated, but you're still connected to the life of St. Paul's, we will be live streaming. Thank you, Ed Darling, for taking care of that. We will be live streaming. So the normal places you find our live stream on Sunday mornings, there you will be able to find our stream of Frank's service. That's our YouTube channel, which you can get to by going to spocala.org/worship or on our Facebook page. We'll have that for you. So we look forward to it. So thank you for all the many people that are working behind the scenes to make this work for the Raspberry family and to create a loving and warm, inviting space for our community who will be here to honor him as well. So let's turn the page a little bit about things that are happening in the life of our church over the next several weeks. First, let's talk about some things that are unfolding now that it is August. So we will shift gears for the month of August, and our everyday offering will actually shift to be a part of the Buckets of Hope Challenge laid down by our Bishop Tom Berlin. The Buckets of Hope Challenge is inviting churches from across our connection in the state of Florida to pack flood buckets to get ready for the impending hurricane tropical storm season. And so if you've been around for a while, you know that we do this pretty regularly, almost annually. We pack flood buckets. And so this week, you'll be able to access the information in many different ways about the flood buckets. The first is we're going to have the printed list. If you feel like you want to pack a whole bucket yourself, or at least buy the supplies that go in one full bucket and bring them here, you'll have a full printed out list that'll be available to you. That list is also in the weekly email that we sent out Wednesday. It will, of course, be in the weekly email we send out next week as well, a link to that list. If you prefer to just grab a couple of the items to help us work towards filling these buckets, we will have individual takeaway sheets of paper that'll have those individual items. We'll have that ready for you this Sunday. That'll be in the narthex, and you can take as many of those as you want, and that'll give you instructions on exactly the type of thing that we're asking for, the size, so on and so forth. So that'll be available to you. We're going to collect those during the month of August, and then in September we'll pack those wonderful flood buckets together in the second weekend of September. All right. We've got an important meeting coming up with our children's ministry leaders, so please pay attention to that. That is also in your newsletter. Melinda spoke about it last week as well. I am excited to tell you that over the next several weeks, you're going to hear about some new programs that will be launching. The first I can share with you with much joy today is that beginning on September the 7th, we'll be bringing back Adult Sunday School. And so Adult Sunday School will resume at 8:30 a.m. Each Sunday morning in the fellowship hall. And we've got a team of wonderful leaders that are going to be helping lead that class and doing it in a team fashion. And so we're really excited about not only their leadership, but being able to offer a place for our adults to gather Sunday mornings to be in fellowship with one another, but to learn, to grow, to study the scriptures, to search the scriptures, and to use other curriculums that will help guide their own spiritual formation. So that's going to resume in September. So go ahead and mark your calendars. That will be for adults only, because at that time we will not be able to offer childcare during that time frame, beginning at 8:30 a.m. We will, of course, have childcare during worship, but we're also going to be working on some other new programs that will encompass the whole family, those with children. So be on the lookout for that. I'll share more details with you about that in the coming weeks. All right. So we're 6 minutes in, and I'm finally get to talk to you about our new worship series that we're going to be beginning. I somewhat call it a campaign just because that's the language that I've used in my own education. But I say campaign because each probably 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to use the same emphasis and the same invitation, but we're going to kind of shift gears each time. And I know that may sound confusing, but here's the gist of it. I know I'm not the only one who has witnessed and seen and experienced, even maybe more personally than they would like to admit, that there is much about our pursuit of faith. There's much about our collective witness in the world. There is much about what it means to be Christian. There is much about what it means to seek to follow in the way of Jesus as a disciple. We can look at all of those dynamics of our collective faith pursuit. No matter where we've come from, no matter our background, no matter our emphasis, no matter anything. And we could honestly say there are so many things about that collective faith pursuit that need to be reclaimed. Not as a finger wagging, not to be angry, not to cause division, but to say we must, if we are serious about following Jesus, if we're serious about being in this community together that seeks to follow Jesus in a meaningful, powerful, prophetic, and service-oriented way, there are things we must reclaim together. Because for a number of reasons, things can become almost too familiar or too rote that we forget, and we lose the power behind them. We lose our own desire to achieve these things, or we just flat out don't like certain things about our faith, and so we kind of push them to the side, and we focus too much on our own comfort and many other things. Not to get in the weeds, but this idea of reclaiming some of the core realities of what it means to be a follower of Jesus, to be Christian, I believe is warranted. Not just in this season, but in every season. But we are going to purposefully, over the next, many weeks, look at different things that I believe, are being invited to reclaim as the people of God here at St. Paul's United Methodist Church. We're calling it the Reclamation Project, okay? What is it that we need to reclaim? And we're going to start very broadly with our mission. What is our mission? As Jesus followers, what is the mission that is before us? What are we invited to? And so for the next several weeks, we're going to look at that. What is our mission? What informs our mission? What is the heritage in which we, in our particular perspective of faith tradition, what is the heritage that really has brought us to this place, and what can we learn from that? What can we learn from understanding about the early church and its mission and how we glean from that? And we're going to do that for the next several weeks. And then we'll shift gears and we'll talk about other things that need to be reclaimed in our experience together with God, with God's Holy Spirit empowering us. And we'll look at discipleship. What does it mean to reclaim our place as disciples and to be remembered and to reclaim what Jesus intended for those that would come after him? And so this is going to be a beautiful, I believe, very expressive and expansive and inviting conversation we're going to have over the next several months. And I pray that you would come along on the journey with us. Whether you have been a part of the church as long as you can remember, whether you are newer to this expression, whether you're here and there's still some skepticism, or whether you are not super connected and maybe you're receiving this because someone forwarded it to you, I pray that as you would witness with us what it means to reclaim some of these core things about our faith practice together, as we ask these questions, as we explore again stories that we are very familiar with as well as stories that we're not, that inform us and draw us deeper and deeper into reclaiming who God desires us to be, discerning what it means to be engaged with God and God's mission, as well as claiming our own responsibility as disciples. As we discern that together with God's Holy Spirit, I pray that you would come along for the journey. I think it's going to be a fun one. All right. Grace and peace to you all. Thank you for hanging out with me for, almost 12 minutes now. I apologize for the length of this, but exciting things ahead, and I pray you will be along for the journey with us.